The 14th Ward is one of the most culturally diverse areas in the city of St. Louis. Hello, I'm Todd Blackstock, your host today for In Your Ward. On today's episode, we're going to take you on a journey through the 14th Ward with Alderwoman Carol Howard. We're going to show you the business districts, neighborhoods, and show you how the Bosnian community is helping reshape this area of South St. Louis. So stick around for In Your Ward, coming up next on STL TV. This is Alderwoman Carol Howard of the 14th Ward in the city of St. Louis. She took office in November of 2010 after retiring from a career in education.
But Dr. Howard, it is indeed my pleasure to ask you to join me here at the podium. Raise your right hand and repeat after me.
Went to Harris Stowe Teachers College, graduated cum laude, and pursued a career in teaching in the St. Louis Public Schools. I did that for about 20 some odd years. It's sort of a natural flow, teaching, educating. As an alderman, I see my purpose as partially educating the citizenry on the opportunities that are available to them in the city of St. Louis and having them take advantage of those opportunities and making the quality of life better for themselves in the ward.
Prior to becoming alderman, Howard served as committee person for the 14th Ward. She also serves on several committees for the Board of Aldermen, including Convention and Tourism, Public Safety, Neighborhood Development, Intergovernmental Affairs, Personnel and Administration, and Engrossment Rules, Resolutions, and Credentials. The 14th Ward is located in South St. Louis. The boundaries are Chippewa to the north, Macklin to the west, Hummel, Walsh, and Delore on the south, and the Union Pacific Railroad on the east. Well, Alderman Howard, let's talk about the housing stock in the 14th Ward. There's some beautiful brick buildings, and it's a great area, and there's some fantastic houses that go back 100 years or so.
Yes, we are very fortunate to have a housing stock that dates back, and a very diverse housing stock. The houses were built actually around the Christie Clay Mine, which is now the Burlington Coat Factory shopping mall. And up on the hill from that is the old Christie Clay Mines refactory, where they actually produce the brick. That is now used by the Bevo Senior Citizens Club. And as far as housing east of Kings Highway, there's a lot of small brick homes and frame, and some larger mixed in there, and we have everything from flat roof to Dutch colonial, just about any kind of house you would want. And some of them have been redone and reconfigured, and some of them still have the old world charm.
And Alderman Howard, there's a couple of business districts in the 14th Ward I know you're very proud of. One right there on Kings Highway.
Right, the South Kings Highway Business Association runs northerly, and I share it with several other wards. West of there is the Macklin Business District, which is becoming very active and getting lots of new businesses there, and it's a nice walking community.
Well, the Macklin Business District here in the 14th Ward is charming. There's restaurants, shops, and homes all nestled into this little area. One of the fun places to come when you're visiting is Manzos Restaurant and Market, right here at 5346 Devonshire. Manzos is a quaint little family-run neighborhood store that serves up an array of imported wine varietals from the old world. There's a wide variety of imported cheeses available. A tremendous selection of sausages here has helped owner Pete Manzo receive the distinction of being known as the Sausage King of South St. Louis. Manzo believes his father adapted the market to cater to this eclectic walking neighborhood after immigrating from Italy.
These buildings up around in here were all Greek families. My dad, our family's from Italy. From Sicily, and when he moved here in 1969, he moved to this location, and I used to get my hair cut right across the street, go down the street for some groceries. So my dad thought, let's bring in some Greek items in addition to our Italian food stuff, and that's sort of how we became an Italian and Greek and Mediterranean in general store.
Manzos serves mouth-watering deli sandwiches, specializing in Italian beef, and one of the most interesting and delicious items served here is the muffalata sandwich.
You know, it was New Orleans that really made it popular. The key is the olive salad that goes on it. It's got the traditional Italian Genoa salami, provolone cheese. We also put some mortadella, which is Italian bologna, and we dressed it up with some lettuce, onion, and tomato on top. We've been working really hard on promoting the area and really encouraging small businesses to come back into this area. I mean, we've been here since 1955, so I've really seen the neighborhood change a lot.
Pete's father gave him some advice that still holds true today.
My dad would always say, there's got to be a Manzo at Manzos. There's got to be someone there. And when my brother passed away, my brother Paul and I were working together in the business, and he died 3 years ago at 45 years old, suddenly, and it became even more important.
Manzo feels that it's important to keep the family business in the city of St. Louis.
We've had a lot of people ask me why don't you guys open up a shop in West County or, you know, just out west? You can only get our products at our store. So it's an incentive for them to come into the city.
There was a move to move out to the suburbs, go to the malls, and try to get away from the city. I think that we're becoming more aware of the sustainability and the ecosystem of, you know, trying to keep the city alive with businesses and patronizing businesses. Pete has been instrumental with the Macklin Business Association in promoting the area. He's also brought in some other businesses through his leadership. We have the Big River Running Company right next door. They sell running equipment, but along with that, they promote running and physical fitness in the St. Louis area.
And just around the corner, Macklin Avenue Deli is also a popular spot in the neighborhood. You've got a couple photography studios as well. I know the Arteaga family is in their third generation in that part of, mostly that part of St. Louis, and they've really helped out and added a lot of culture, and they've really saved, you know, moments in time here in St. Louis.
Their studio is a trip back in time for the city of St. Louis. I mean, everything from the construction of the arch to the arena. You go through there, it's a repository of St. Louis history, and Brad and his father and his departed uncle have been a great support to the city of St. Louis and to me as an alderman. They've done a lot to enhance the ward.
Robert Arteaga was one of the pioneers in photography in St. Louis after his family immigrated here from Europe, and one of the first to use aerial photography.
Well, my dad, when he came here in about 1918, came out of Madrid, Spain. He came across and they'd come to the United States. They didn't know exactly where they were going, but they ended up down here on Virginia Avenue. When he got interested in photography, he decided that to freeze history at that particular moment. And every picture he took, he put a date on it, and that was it, or a number, that you know exactly when it was taken. And he impressed it on my brother and me and my son now.
Robert Arteaga was a celebrity, hanging out with ball players and Hollywood stars. He became so prominent at his craft that he was commissioned by Eero Saarinen to be the exclusive photographer for the arch, capturing images before groundbreaking, throughout the construction phase, until the final section was placed in 1966. Here, he is shown pointing at a time capsule placed inside the arch. Robert's son Eldon carved out his own legacy over the years, and he was also on hand, shown here on top of the arch, just inches away with no harness, as the last sections were secured. As the years passed and the family grew, Eldon Arteaga was ready to relocate from this studio in North St. Louis to this site in the 14th Ward at 5212 Delore Street.
Well, we came here in 1972, and when we were looking for a place to move our studio, we were right up and down all the streets, you know, and we looked this way, that way, and all of a sudden this one building here looked so good. It belonged to a guy named Dick's grocery store. And he says, you know, we only put that sign up early that morning on Sunday that you saw it, and just that quick, it's gone. I said, well, it's a beautiful place. It's just been a tremendous neighborhood, and when you look at those houses, all of them so well kept, and the people are so nice, and we just enjoy the daylights out of it, you know.
Now in their third generation, Brad Arteaga has taken the reins and is carrying on the family photography tradition. But Brad has broadened his horizons and opened up another business in the 14th Ward, Eddie's Donuts, located at 4701 South Kings Highway.
It was vacant for 13 years. I got tired of driving by it. It was known as the ugly blue building that was down on Kings Highway. Had no roof on it. It's boarded up. The parking lot was all in gravel. It was a gas station, then it was a dry cleaners.
Many people wanted this eyesore torn down, but Brad Arteaga thought it was worth saving, so he bought it.
So I decided that I wanted to do a donut shop. So I contacted Eddie, who was working at another donut shop at the time, and I said, "You want your own spot?" He said, "Oh, I'd love it." So I went in, I bought all the equipment. I said, gave him the key, and I said, "Eddie, this one's yours. And so this is where you're gonna go to work now." So, and we've been open for 7 years.
This is the donuts that made it Eddie's Fresh Donut Shop every day. Come by and see us.
Eddie is a showman in the 14th Ward and enjoys making and serving a variety of different pastries. His donuts and personality have made this location a destination point for customers.
I come all the way from South County, Lee May, to get donuts here, because these are the donuts. Only place in town.
They actually stole me from the donut shop down on Chippewa.
See, we're good for stealing things down here. You are the 99th person to buy a donut from here. Smile at the camera.
Hi.
After Arteaga acquired the property, Alderman Howard helped him improve the exterior of the building.
So Carol came in and said, "You know, I almost took out the bottom of my car here, you know, because the driveways are rough. What can we do to get a 50-50 program going?" I said, "I'd love it." So it helped with putting some new driveways and sidewalks around the building. And it helps out the neighborhood a lot. When you have something that's older and you put a new spin to it, and you know, it shows the reinvestment back in the neighborhood. And I think that that's where, you know, having an alderman that works with the people in the different businesses, you have to have that. And I think Carol gets it with being able to help out with that, with the funds that are available to her.
The Gravois Business District is also represented within the 14th Ward, and the most historic landmark in the area is the Bevo Mill. The Bevo Mill was built in 1916 by August A. Bush. It was the halfway point between the brewery and Grant's Farm, and was utilized as a social venue for the Bush family and close friends. It became an upscale restaurant and a city jewel for many years, but after being closed, the city took it over.
Actually, it was donated in the InBev takeover of Anheuser-Busch. It was donated to the city, so it's owned by LRA, or the city, and the Food Works rents the space.
The city liked our proposal because in this day and age, this size of a restaurant would be hard to operate on a daily basis, as the previous owners found out. So we chose to open it as a venue for our special events, holidays, and to make the brunches a focus of every Sunday and on the holidays. And so far it's been a success.
After being shuttered for months and neglected for years, the Bevo Mill was in disrepair, and Milan and his partners knew they had a lot of work to do to get this building back to prominence.
When we walked in the door, we found water leaks, electrical problems, sewer problems, gutter problems. The copper guttering had been stolen. Air conditioning copper had been stolen.
Milan and his partners have spent hundreds of thousands of dollars to refurbish Bevo Mill, and the city of St. Louis made contributions as well to restore this landmark in the 14th Ward.
We tried to beautify the patio. We spent a lot of money outside. The city facade division has really stepped up, and they helped us with some outdoor lighting for security in the parking lot and around the building, and some accent lighting because the tower had not been lit in many years. It has a rich history, and we just couldn't see it fall apart as it was. We have a lot of the original steins that you can see in the original pictures. We took a picture identical to the day they opened with an all-male crew, but I had male and female. We had everyone standing in the same spot they did the day they opened for the day that we opened. I don't think it can return to the heyday it once had as far as being open every day for lunch and dinner, but I think we can build more on what we're doing now.
The Bevo Mill is on the National Historic Register, and if you would like information on hours of operation or booking a private event, you can call 314-721-3233 or visit gourmetfoodworks.com. The Gravois Business District has many thriving businesses around the Bevo Mill.
Tim's Chrome Bar is one of the staples of the ward. He's been here probably 50 years or better, and it's quite a party atmosphere when he's open on Thursday for karaoke, and then on Friday and Saturday night he has bands and people come in and dance, and it's quite an outing. Also, another place that's very nice is the Taft Street Bar and Grill. They have a great menu up there, and they do a wonderful job as far as food. And we're about to have a new restaurant, a Mexican restaurant that will be opening on Gravois. So there's a lot of things to do, and we also have Lily's down on Kings Highway, which is a authentic Mexican restaurant also.
Russell Flores is also a mainstay in the 14th Ward.
They've been in the city probably 50 years. They're working on their third generation. They moved from North Grand down here about 20 years ago, and they're quite happy. They're good. They're very involved in the Gravois Business Association, and they're quite a stalwart and very productive part of the ward.
One of the hidden gems in the 14th Ward is the Miniature Museum of Greater St. Louis, located at the corner of Gravois and Delore.
In 1989, a bunch of us ladies got together. We wanted a place to save our miniatures from the wrecking ball, so we formed a corporation. And we worked until 1999 raising money for this building. We put on 2 shows a year, some garage sales, stuff like that.
The museum officially opened in 2001 and displays dozens of dollhouses and hundreds of miniatures, each one with a unique story, like this replication of the old cathedral.
It was built by Dr. Wunderlich in his offices across the street, and he's a dentist. And when he didn't have patients, he would be working on his little things with his dental tools, and it's interesting. Since then, I found out I asked my dentist for things all the time.
Of the myriad of miniatures and dollhouses in the museum, Joanne Martin does have her favorites.
I think my very favorite is a Beau Mache. It's been done by an artisan named Pitt Ginsburg, and then he incorporated a bunch of different artisans to put everything together.
Martin says the Pocahontas doll here in the center with the black dress is one of the most popular items. And how fitting is this Bevo Mill dollhouse displayed here, with the actual historic Bevo Mill residing right across the street. The haunted house is my favorite, featuring creepy skeletons, Count Dracula, Frankenstein, and in this exhibit, you need to enter at your own risk.
It's got a basement. You look down in the holes, and you're startled when you look in there and you see your own face in there. A lot of kids come in and they, oh, look at this. I said, look down in that hole and see, what do you see down there? And they jump back. I said, we're in there.
And one of the most well-documented donors exhibits are celebrated right here on the back wall of the museum.
That lady, Rita Benegoni, she built 70 of them before she passed away. And their family was, gave them to us, and the first time around we got 68 of them. She must have did a lot of research, because it's something that you would see in 1800s in some lady's parlor, and the coal stoves where you can see the fire blinking inside. And I think that's our best acquisition that we got when we first started. We'll just keep on growing, and hopefully we'll be opened upstairs sooner or later.
The Miniature Museum of Greater St. Louis is open from 11 to 4 Wednesday through Saturday and 1 to 4 on Sundays. The name Bosnian Mill comes to mind as a nickname for the Bevo Mill area. You know, a decade or so ago, there was a lot of open storefronts and houses that were, you know, just ready for sale. And the Bosnian community is, and other immigrations have taken place in that area and really rounded out the city of St. Louis.
And we have a healthy Eastern European population because we have them from several different countries. And they've contributed vastly to the economy in the area and to the overall well-being of the ward. They've brought back buildings that were on the verge of collapse and contributed quite a bit to the ward, and they're a vital population, and they really do work well and contribute to the diverse fabric of the ward.
War and terror in southeastern Europe caused many Bosnians to flee to the United States between 1993 and 2001. St. Louis welcomed these refugees to town, and many of them have taken root here in the Bevo Mill neighborhood. St. Louis now has the largest Bosnian community in the nation.
We know our history and bad history during the war, and that we are not here as immigrants. We are here refugees who flee the country because of that terrible war that happened to us.
Bosnia and Herzegovina declared its independence in March of 1992. War then broke out among the country's Muslims, Croats and Serbs. Milosevic and Serb nationalist forces in Bosnia still had the resources of the Yugoslav National Army. They used these weapons in their assault on Bosnian cities, towns and villages. The war that ravaged the Bosnian homeland was extremely tragic. Many people lost everything that they had worked for and everything that they owned. Nearly all of the businesses collapsed during this national nightmare. However, in an attempt to save their lives and their families, thousands of people fled the country, looking for a better tomorrow.
Hundreds of thousands of Bosnians came to the United States for freedom and refuge, but found only heartache and misery instead.
Let me tell you something. I was 4 years in war in Sarajevo under siege during the war. And I came after that to New York as a refugee with my family, with my wife and 2 kids. 4 years period in New York, in middle of New York, were worse for me and more complicated and difficult than war in Bosnia, 4 years in war under siege.
Because of economic and real estate issues, Zidzovic followed tens of thousands of Bosnians to the open arms of St. Louis and the 14th Ward.
Sabaha is the Bosnian newspaper, and it's distributed throughout the United States to Bosnian community, and it also goes back to Bosnia, and it keeps the community apprised of what's going on in Bosnia, as well as other areas in the United States where the Bosnian communities live.
Zidzovic brought his newspaper Sabah from New York City in 1997. It's family run, and Zidzovic believes that the city of St. Louis is a wonderful location for the community to thrive, with over 70,000 Bosnians living here.
We have kids who are becoming doctors, master degree, educated all over the world, especially here in St. Louis, and we are thankful to this city because it has good college. And we have a lot of kids graduating colleges here. So that's our best part of our community now, new generation who graduated here, who growing up over here, and that's our future. Whoever is hard worker and used to work and smart, he can be successful in this country. And as a result, we have a Bosnian community as successful over here because today we have over 200-300 business owners over here, Bosnians.
Europa Market is one of them. Featuring tidy aisles of imported goods from the homeland, you'll find a fresh array of sausages and palate-tantalizing items like imported cheeses, which will make your mouth water. With the authentic Bosnian products and decor, along with a friendly staff, it gives a true Eastern European vibe. This area sort of feels like a foreign country in our own backyard.
the whole community is very gracious, and I'm so proud to represent them.
At the intersection of Kings Highway and Christie, behind the Engine House 52, you will find Christie Park.
That is the primary park in the ward. I call it kind of the centerpiece after Bevo Mill.
And Alderman Howard, looking at Christie Park here, it's a fun park. Not the biggest park in St. Louis, but it's safe to say the shrubbery and plantings here make it much more aesthetically pleasing than it once was.
Right. And I think it'll serve the community well. It's manageable, and it will fill in, and it'll provide beauty year-round. And we also have the playground back here, which is a small little playground, but you know, it serves the neighborhood well. As you notice, there's houses all along the periphery here, and many of the children can walk right to the playground, and is well used, I must say. People also use the park for walking. It also hooks into the Christie Greenway for cyclists, runners, and walkers.
What are some of the major issues in St. Louis right now?
I would say, you know, the keeping the area clean and having a good quality of life. Crime is a big concern. We have a neighborhood watch group that was established since I've come on board at the Board of Aldermen. And I think that helps to give people a better feeling of neighborhood, home, and a connection to the community. They know who's in the community, they know who their neighbors are. We're working really hard to develop that ownership model, neighborhood ownership model, so people don't run scared from the city.
5-10 years from now, what are some of the things that you want to have accomplished in your term as the alderman? Some fun things and things that you really want to get done?
I would like to see that the community coalesces and realizes that they're empowered to take control of their area and make it the place that everybody wants to live. We have a great residential community. As we talked about, the housing stock is great. It's very affordably priced. We have many businesses in the area that make it a very convenient place to live as a walkable community, and that's one of the things that I'm working toward is having businesses in the area that people can walk to and sustain themselves without having to get in the car and drive.
We are so grateful that Alderwoman Carol Howard came and won election, but we have huge improvement over here after she came. We see what's going on around us. We see the sidewalks over here. We see help in opening the businesses. We see her on the street, which is the most important thing. We see her with us. She's listening us, and she is responding as much as she can.